So you build a team around your favorite Pokemon. You test it together and it loses. Maybe a few times in a row even. So what do you do next? You tweak the EVs, you swap a move, or you try a different partner. And then it just loses again. So what you do next is you bench your favorite Pokemon and grab a meta team. And suddenly you are winning games. And at that moment you might give up on your favorite Pokemon or a Pokemon that you like. Because it does not work out. But let me tell you why I think it sometimes is worth it to build around your favorites. Not to win every game, but also for fun. I team build most of the time using off-meta Pokemon. Because I like using niche Pokemon. I know the feeling of not succeeding with a Pokemon I or you like. I lost a lot with them, but that does not mean you should give up on it. There were actually some off-meta teams for me that I succeeded with, and those memories stay with me, and I'm really proud I could make off-meta Pokemon work, and let me tell you, if I can do it, you eventually can do it as well. But the hard reality is that it is harder to use an off-meta Pokemon than a proven meta. It requires more games and knowledge, and you are going to lose. A lot. This is completely fine. Losing is part of the process. I have probably lost more games with off-meta Pokemon than wins with it. In this video I am going to tell you the 3 biggest things that I've learned while building with off-meta Pokemon. And I do not want to say I'm a professional Pokemon player, I just want to share my experience, my losses and victories with you. Problem 1. Expectations. The problem I have with off-meta Pokemon team building is that I want to succeed immediately, but that is not how it works. You cannot just grab a likable Pokemon and put it on a team and expect it to work it out immediately. You have to be a super expert in team building for it to work like that. So what I will do is lower the expectations of succeeding immediately. This is not me saying that you should expect a loss every game you play with your Pokemon, because I also believe you have to be delusional. And with what I mean with that is you do not care what someone says about a Pokemon. If you like it and you want to make it work, then go for it. I will always support that. But also at the same time, you have to be realistic. Be delusional enough to start, but realistic enough to keep going where you lose. If you want to make Sharpedo work in this meta, that is a fine idea, but you cannot expect the first item you put in it, the first team you make, immediately works. If you lose with that Pokemon at that time, just see losses as data points on what you could do better next time in a matchup. And also, to add up to that, I think you should give the team at least 3 games of trying instead of 1 game and then throw it all away. Maybe it was the matchup, or maybe it was something else, but more games is more information for you to see what could work better. You have to give it time, and this is one of the hardest things I do with off-meta Pokemon, because I also want to succeed immediately sometimes, but it does not always happen. You have to give it time. This is also one of the hard things to do. Problem 2. What is the purpose of your favorite? When I team build, I always look at what role my off-meta Pokemon has. Is it a support role, an offensive powerhouse, a sweeper? I always look at what the purpose of the Pokemon is. More roles can work for one Pokemon, for example Torterra. It can be an offensive Trick Room Sweeper with the Life Orb item and a huge offensive moves, but it can also be a bulkier Pokemon with such support moves as Wide Guard to protect his partner Pokemon. To determine a role, we have to look at all the things it gets. The typing, the move pool, the abilities and the stats of a Pokemon. These things are really determine how good the Pokemon is and where it can be used. If you pick for example Hydrapple, then I see it as a Trick Room Sweeper with Fickle Beam and Giga Drain with Regenerator to heal itself up. But it can also be a cool support Pokemon with its ability Super Sweep Psywhip, and then your partner Pokemon can hit it with inaccurate moves. And also with Psywhip Bomb, it lowers the speed of the opposing Pokemon for 3 turns. That is how Hydrapple can fill 2 roles, as support and as sweeper. But you have to synergize it well with the team, and like I said in problem 1, this can take time. But what I suggest is just to play the game, see where the team struggles, and then go from there. And from there, you can easily change the team to your liking with the information you have gotten from the games. And that is where good and well-rounded teams come from. You also have to know a bit about the meta, I would say. You do not have to study it like you would for NASA, but you need to know what is common in the meta and how to counter it and how to adapt to it. And the most easy way to know what the meta is just to play the game. Problem number 3. Remember why you choose this path. One last problem I wanted to really discuss is why did you start playing with the Pokemon you chose? Was it because of fun? Did you want to make a certain rank with it? Or did you just feel like it? I know the frustration of why an off-meta Pokemon does not always work, but remember why you choose the Pokemon in the first place. If I can share my experience, I used to play to prove myself. Prove a Pokemon can work, no matter what. And if I did not succeed, I felt wasted, and I thought I was getting laughed at by people who thought I was trying weird things. That feeling was brutal, but if I really remember why I actually chose the Pokemon, it's also because I wanted to have fun with it. The person who picks their favorite and loses 20 games learns more than the person who copies a rental and wins 10 games, because results come automatically when you are getting better. But the problem is, you have to put in the work, and remember why you started this journey with your Pokemon. I myself became obsessed with succeeding, but you have to accept that it's not always gonna go that way. Failure is a part of growing. Unless you do not care about growing anymore and focus on wins, you will not grow. This is also a problem I had when playing the game in general. For example, I lost twice and then I had to win again to get my rating back up. But you should not always tie your skill level to ladder rating. Of course, someone who ended in champion tier obviously is better than someone who did not. But that does not mean you are a bad player if you did not make that. I have succeeded in the past with a lot of off-meta Pokemon, to top cutting online tournaments, to succeeding with them on ladder. I had a great run with Regice, its Carnivore, where I ended 6 out of 136 players in an online tournament, and also with Lunaga in Regulation G. While no one was using it, I used it to get second at a local with players who top cut regionals. I also got to Champions tier with Blaziken, who right now is really picking up with popularity, but I used it when not a lot of players were using it. So that is some of the payoff I got, and that is why I do it. But remember, you are going to fail a lot, and that is okay. So that is what I have learned from off-meta team building. Look, I get it. The meta path is easier and that is totally understandable, but I hope you learned that you should not give up on a Pokemon if it doesn't immediately work out. Let me know down in the comments below, what off-meta Pokemon are you trying to work on right now in Pokemon Champions? And consider subscribing so you don't miss future uploads. And for now, I wish you all a great day and good luck with your own team building. I hope you learned something today, and I want to make more discussion videos in the future. And more educational videos, like the guides that I did. Thank you so much for listening and watching this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.